Hi and welcome. This is Terry Edwards and Drew Edwards from Renegade Recruiter. Having spoken to a lot of recruitment and search firms around the world, there seem to be three main threats that are stifling your growth. So you want to look at what those three main threats, and I'm going to share with you exactly what to do about it. And the first one is what we call cost of client acquisition. It's becoming more and more difficult now to acquire new clients. It's becoming more and more expensive to acquire new clients. And again, I know we've touched this on numerous occasions. For many recruitment and search firm owners, it's getting on that phone and smile and dial. You know, and I know, that's becoming increasingly more difficult now. And it's proving to be not the most cost-effective way of acquiring clients. So that's the number one, not necessarily the number one, but that's one of the challenges, and that's the cost of client acquisition.
Yeah, I think whichever way you look at it, when it comes to growing your business or comes to business development or marketing activities, there's always an associated cost involved. That could be cost of time, the time spent.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
So again, you talked about there, cold calling becoming less and less effective. It still works, no one would argue with that, but compared to sort of 5-10 years ago, the amount of time you have to spend on the phone to get through to a decision maker has increased. And then even then you've got, because it's not just you calling them, it's other recruiters and other just service providers calling them, you've got that backing as well. So the cost, whether it's time or money, is increasing, it's going up. And if you don't find a way to sort of fight against that, then it eats into your profits, right? And it makes it harder for you to grow, especially if you're doing something that's reliant on time. I mean, there's only so many hours in a day, right? So when that time goes, or when you're using all that time, so let's say you're spending like 8 hours cold calling, for example. I know most people don't do that, but let's say you're from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m, you're on the phone cold calling, you stop for lunch or whatever. Once you hit the peak of gets results in that time frame, there's nowhere else to go. That's sometimes one of the reasons why we see recruitment and search firms like they're doing well, but they stop growing and not unable to get sort of through that glass ceiling, so to speak. Then one of the second roadblocks you've got is what we call price pressure. And what we mean by that, and you've probably noticed this, is that because what we found is that the market's becoming more crowded, right? So it's a good and bad thing in one sense. Like, it's good because it means that if you're a new recruitment or search firm owner, you can enter the market quickly and make some good money. But it also means that you've got a lot more competitors as well. So you've got lots of competitors coming into the market, which means that your clients, if you don't separate yourself from the crowd anyway, your clients feel like they can dictate what fee they pay you, because if you don't agree to their terms or the terms they tell you to give them, then there's always going to be another recruitment or search man down the road who is willing to do it cheaper. So a lot of recruitment and search managers are feeling like they're literally being forced, and I mean forced because they don't want to do it, forced to lower their fees just to win the business or just to keep the business or just to get their foot in the door. And this is obviously a big problem, right? If you don't find a way to separate yourself from the crowd, so one, you get more attention of your ideal clients, but two, you can dictate the fees you charge as well. So your clients, you're charging more than your competitors, but your clients are still willing to pay. If you don't find a way to do that, then this is obviously going to be a big roadblock for you, because all that will happen is you'll be forced to keep lowering your fees, and it's a race to the bottom effectively. And whoever does it the cheapest wins. And the bad news is there's always someone who's willing to do it cheaper than you, to the point there's people that actually work for free. So if you don't, one of the big things you need to do or concentrate on is how to overcome this roadblock, how to overcome price pressure. Terry, anything you want to add?
Yeah, because I think a lot of recruiters and search firms we speak to, they believe that their clients are buying them price alone. So you're constantly feeling this pressure. You're constantly hearing things like, I can get that cheaper down the road. You're constantly hearing your competitors offer a bit better deal than that. So the perception is that you're this relentless pressure on you and on the service. Now there's a reason for that, and we'll explain to you how to overcome it, but it's a lot to do with your positioning. But again, the good news is there is a way to overcome this price pressure. I think the other thing I want to add, Drew, is that the good news is most of your competitors have no idea. But once you get this, you will never ever encounter that again. Never ever encounter it. But it's in the detail, isn't it? It's knowing exactly what to do.
Yeah. And then the sort of third and final roadblock is what we call spending reluctance. And what we mean by that is that what we're finding at the moment is your clients, your ideal clients, even though they have a need for your services, even though they may even know that you're good at what you do, they have this spending reluctance and they don't actually want to invest money or give money to the recruitment search runner. So for some people it means that they do the recruitment themselves, do the search themselves, and some people it means that they bring it in-house, so you're battling against sort of in-house recruiters. And sometimes this has an effect on this as well, because if they're reluctant to spend, then sort of the immediate thing we think about doing is, if we can reduce the fee, would you go ahead? And a lot of time that's what creates this price pressure as well. But again, one of the things that's happening, as we mentioned before, is that more and more recruitment and search firm owners come into the market because there's a low cost of entry, and some of them are really, really good and offer a good service, but at the same time, and you've probably experienced this, you probably know some of these people, there's a lot of recruitment search firm owners who do not offer a good service. And again, the problem is if you can't separate yourselves from them, your clients or your potential clients will view you in the same way. So if they've spent money with a recruiter who promised them the world and didn't deliver, then you now fit into that box. You look exactly the same as them. So they don't want to give you money. And again, as I said, the way to sort of overcome that is to reduce your fees. So we've got all these three roadblocks working in conjunction with each other. Right? We've got the cost of client acquisition going up. We've got you feeling like you're having to reduce your fees or having to lower your fees, or even if it's not you're reducing your fees, you feel like you have to keep them the same, because you should be increasing them really. And then we've got this whole thing around spending reluctance. Your clients don't actually want to give you money, so they're bringing in in-house recruitment, even though they're not necessarily doing as well a job as you could do, but it's cheaper. So this is the way they're going. So the good news is there is a way to overcome all three of these roadblocks, and this is something that we help our clients do day in, day out. And the way to overcome all of these is to get better at the skill of client attraction, marketing and client attraction, and get better at the ability to bring clients into your business, right? At the fees you want as well, which I think is an important thing. So if you think about it, if we could wave a magic wand and give you all the clients you want, all the clients you need at the right fee, none of this would be a problem, right? So when you've got, when you're good at bringing in clients, then the cost of client acquisition isn't really a problem for you, because you know that you're making profit, and that's really all that matters, right? If you're making profit. Price pressure isn't really a problem, because if you're feeling like you're being affected by this right now, one of the big reasons for that is that you don't have enough leads coming in. So if you're speaking to one client and you don't know when the next time you're going to speak to a client, and you say, hey, can you do it for we only work for 20%, and they say, look, normally work 17%, and you haven't got anything else in the pipeline, and you're wondering where my next client is coming from, where my next meal's coming from,
there's your pressure.
You're thinking, I've got to put food on the table, you accept that.
Yeah.
But if you had sort of, not you're speaking to one client that week, speaking to 10, and you know that actually you only need one of them to agree to your fee, it removes the pressure, and you can negotiate from a stronger standpoint, because you're able to say, well, look, at the end of the day, Mr. Client, Mrs. Client, if you're only going to pay me 17% and your competitor is going to give me 20%, who do you think is going to get the best candidate? Who do you think I'm going to give the best candidate to? And obviously the only logical answer is you're going to give it to the client who's paying you the fee you actually want. So it removes this price pressure as well. And again, if you can demonstrate that you're able to get results for your clients, which is basically what marketing is, which is what client attraction is they can believe that you can get them better results than they've had in the past, or better results than they can get from their in-house team, then it removes the spending reluctance as well, because they know no matter what your fee is, no matter what they're paying you, the value they get in return for having that right candidate is going to far outweigh that. So they're going to get a return on their investment. But you need to be able to demonstrate those facts.
And this all comes down to, as Drew said, I'm kind of sort of summarising it comes down to your ability to attract the ideal clients that you want to work with when you want to work with at will. And once you can get that, you will eliminate all these challenges here. And,
so we're hosting a free online seminar that really reveals how you overcome all these three threats, and how you, how a small segment or small percentage of recruitment search managers are able to get their dream business and attract clients on demand. And we're going to show you the exact system they're using in their business, so you can use it too to overcome these three roadblocks. So to join that free online seminar, click the link in this post, and we'll see you on the other side.